So your boy recently just watched the new Mortal Kombat Legends Scorpion's Revenge movie, and I thought I would do a review on it. So without further ado, let's get into it. So wait a minute, before I do anything, let you guys know that this is going to contain spoilers. So spoiler alert, spoiler alert. So if you choose to watch after this video and you haven't seen it yet, then it's your fault, not mine. From what I saw, from what we watched last night, the movie was pretty good. I have some pros and cons about it, so I'm gonna go over those with you today. I jotted a couple notes down on what your boy wanted to talk about today about the movie. But I'll kind of run down first exactly kind of like the plot and how everything went. So it's Mortal Kombat Legends Scorpion's Revenge. So it's right out the title, it would be based basically off of Scorpion, right? The movie starts basically with Scorpion Hanzo and his son. So he's still in human form right now. So Hanzo and his son learning about scorpions and just basically on a father-son trip, just doing different things. As they get ready to leave and go home for dinner, they start walking through the village and notice that it's like empty. So he's, curious already off the bat, like what's going on. So he starts walking around and he walks into, I think it's some type of shop or something, and sees that pretty much most of his clan has been slaughtered, brutalized. You know the story of Hanzo. So he's walking around, he sees some of the Lin Kuei ninjas around, so he automatically gets into a fight. He starts to run home because they're starting to get outnumbered, because he has a son with him at the same time. So it's like, okay, his son could get hurt. He finally ends up making it home and he's looking for his wife. His son actually finds his wife, or his mom, and she's been slaughtered, brutalized as well. The Lin Kuei finally catch up with him, and he just goes, he goes Rick from Walking Dead berserk on these guys after he found out Lori is dead. He goes ham. Seriously, and it's brutalized. The amount of gore that's in this animation is ridiculous. It'll put Baki to shame sometimes in some of these fight scenes. But so he goes around and kills pretty much all the Lin Kuei that he can find until he finds Bihan, which is the original Sub-Zero. He realizes his son is gone. So as he goes outside, sees Bihan. Bihan has a son, and so he freezes Scorpion first up against the wall, restrains him so that he can't move, and he just brutally murders his son right in front of him. It was kind of cringing. I looked over at Lady Akane, she kind of cringed as well, just a little bit, like, that was just ridiculous. So afterwards, they do the whole scene where he comes up and Bihan pretty much murders Hanzo. So he ends up going down to the Nether Realm, and Moloch is actually there, torturing him pretty much. He ends up breaking free because of his will. He kills Moloch and then goes further up into Nether Realm and finds Quan Chi. So basically the whole plot with him and Quan Chi, he says that fight for me in the Mortal Kombat tournament so they can get the Dragon Amulet back so that they can revive Shinnok. So he agrees, and he no longer wants to be called Hanzo, he's Scorpion. So then we cut away to Earth, where we find Liu Kang basically meditating, and then somebody attacks him. He finds out that it's Raiden. Raiden has enlisted Liu Kang to go into the Mortal Kombat tournament to save Earthrealm. You know the whole story about the whole Mortal Kombat thing, so I'm not going to go too much into that. Sonya then shows up. They go through Sonya's small story, small little background of her, joining the military. She's doing like fights right now, trying to look like she's trying to find intel on Kano, basically. And she gets called away to Jax, which Jax has her go to the island because that's where Kano is. as well. And then they cut away to Johnny Cage's story. He's with some woman that looks like she breaks up with him and stuff like that. And then his agent calls him and says that he needs to go to China for the same thing, for this tournament. So they all go on the boat. You know, they're on the boat. Johnny Cage barely almost misses the boat. And they ride off into the island. They get to the island and go over the little preliminary stuff, kind of the same thing from the Mortal Kombat movies and stuff like that. They go into the little dining hall where Shang Tsung puts on a performance for the guests. All the while, Scorpion is like in the shadows watching. So it's like they try to. Well, I'm not going to get into that. Let's continue the plot. I don't want to get off topic first. We'll go into all that afterwards. So he's in the shadows, like watching them and everything that they're going through and doing at this time. Then he sneaks off to get the dragon amulet, but Raiden intercepts him. Raiden kind of puts a little bit of knowledge in his head. So to don't do it, basically, because it's going to make bigger problems for him and for the world. So after that, Shang Tsung pretty much puts on this ultimate demonstration where they drag a captured now Jax out, and there's a force field so Sonya can't get to him. And they have a demonstration between Jax and Goro. So Jax has to fight Goro. Goro ultimately defeats Jax. They drag him off, and then Shang Tsung pretty much teleports everybody onto different spots in the island where they will have their first matches. So the first match they show is Johnny Cage versus Baraka, I believe, which they have clips of that on YouTube, so you can check that out. Johnny Cage versus Baraka, which Johnny Cage ultimately he plays through the whole fight because he still thinks that they're on the movie set and stuff like that. So he basically just narrowly escapes. He doesn't really defeat Baraka. Baraka defeats himself. Then they cut to Sonya versus who's Sonya fight? Oh, it was Sonya versus Reptile, and she defeats Reptile. And then they do Liu Kang versus Katana. And this is a different Katana than the Katana we know from the movies.
To win your next match, use the element which brings life.
Nope.
So after everybody wins their matches, then they cut to, I believe, Scorpion. And he's just brutally murdering the now invading of the island of the Black Dragon Clan. The Black Dragon Clan invades the island. He's just murdering a bunch of people. Later on, they get to Sonya, and she finally catches up with Kano, and they find Jax tied up, and everybody joins in the fight pretty much. They defeat Kano, they rescue Jax. Scorpion ends up facing Sub-Zero. He finds him, and he murders Bi-Han. But then Quan Chi pops up to reveal, of course, that it wasn't Bi-Han. It was actually him in disguise. He used sorcery to portray Sub-Zero to murder his clan, to get basically to enlist Scorpion to fight for him. So now Scorpion's raged, and all he wants to do is fight Quan Chi. We finally get to what's supposed to be the final battle, and it's Liu Kang versus Goro. Liu Kang gets the upper hand, beating up Goro a little bit, but then Goro goes into rage mode pretty much, and pretty much destroys Liu Kang and is getting ready to pull his arms off like they did Jax, until Scorpion saves him, puts a spear through his head, kills Goro, and then Shang Tsung pretty much is promising him, if you defeat Liu Kang, you will get everything that you really want and all that type of stuff like that. He goes to look like he's about to fight Liu Kang, and Raiden pretty much changes his mind by, not changes his mind, but, just adding his 2 cents on that there's always a choice. You don't have to do this, you don't have to go this way. And instead, he teleports behind Shang Tsung. So Shang Tsung ends up escaping along with the others, and Scorpion stays behind to fight Quan Chi. They have a brutal fight as well, and Scorpion ultimately kills Quan Chi, and the last we see of Scorpion is all of the stuff collapsing on top of him, not knowing whether or not he's dead or alive. Pretty much the gang escapes, they leave the island, and the last scene you get is Shang Tsung begging for forgiveness from Shao Kahn and saying that now he has to do it himself. So I feel like they're going to end up actually making another animated film. So, but that's pretty much the plot of it, you know, in a short story. But I'll run through the pros and cons now in no order. I'll just kind of elaborate on what I jotted down here. So basically, first thing I put up, Goro versus Liu Kang. I don't remember Goro facing Liu Kang in the universe. But then, you know, I kind of did a little bit of analyzing just in my brain, thinking of like the type of stuff that actually happened. And if I'm not mistaken, I believe that the ultimate, in the end, Goro was supposed to be the main person you defeated to win Mortal Kombat. Shang Tsung was not. I think it was supposed to be Goro. But I think I remember now. But I don't think Liu Kang ever even faced off against Goro. I could be. I'm probably am wrong. I probably should have did a little bit more research. But I'm thinking that is the case. Until the end, Johnny Cage pretty much was nothing but comic relief. There was a couple of one-liners and stuff that happened that I laughed at that he said, but we know Johnny Cage is that dude for real. Like, even by playing the Mortal Kombat franchise, like the new ones, you see that Johnny Cage, even though he has his classic one-liners and acts like a goofball sometimes, he's not totally a goofball. But I guess this is early Johnny Cage, so at the same time, you can make a case for it being that way. You don't even see Johnny Cage fight until he gets to come and rescue Sonya from Kano. So I think they could have given him a little bit more fight scenes, but I'll talk I think the reason why they didn't at the same time in a second. There was so many cheesy one-liners in this animated film. One thing that I didn't like, if this was going to be a movie basically about Scorpion, it should have been about Scorpion's perspective the entire time. They kept jumping off and on. Like in the beginning, yeah, it was strictly about Scorpion. After he left the Nether Realm, though, and they started the Earth Warriors, that's fine. I can see you sprinkling that in. But and I probably will go back and watch it just to make sure. But I would have at least instilled Scorpion somewhere on screen or something that he left a trace of or something like that to make sure that you know that it's specifically from Scorpion's perspective. Like the boat ride. During the certain fights, like after Liu Kang left, you have Scorpion just standing in the corner, like watching or whatever. You didn't have to, but I think they should have went deeper into Scorpion's story because they just kind of picked up right off from the murders and stuff like that. Even in the game, when you went back, like in Mortal Kombat X, the story mode, they went back and when you played through Scorpion's saga, they kind of gave you more detail on the stuff that he went through and that he actually had a friendship and relationship with Bi-Han before it turned sour. Like they actually coexisted, but then like family reasons and all that type of stuff and clan wise, the Shura Ryu and the Lin Kuei kind of split part. They didn't even chronicle any of that in it. So to give people that's new to the franchise and haven't played through Mortal Kombat X, they could have kind of, you know, elaborated a little bit more on the story between, because it's like they just dropped you in and automatically the Shura Ryu hates the Lin Kuei and vice versa, but you don't know why, and they never really revealed why. So they kind of just dropped it in like that. I wish they would have did a better job in telling a story about that, more backstory basically for Scorpion, because it's supposed to be his movie. If it was just Mortal Kombat Legends, then I understand, but it's Mortal Kombat Legends Scorpion's Revenge. I didn't really have a problem with it, but Baraka being in this early, we know Baraka didn't show up until Mortal Kombat 2, so the second tournament, I didn't really mind it. Of course the Tarkatan race existed, but they kind of, you know, jumped in early, especially with to have him fight Johnny Cage like right out the bat. Like it's kind of early. I don't have a problem with it. I'm just saying that it's different. Like they kind of sprinkle in stuff from the entire universe with things. We know that it's just certain things that like happen later on that they included in this movie. Because if they were basing this strictly off of the first film or the first incarnation of Mortal Kombat and it being the 10th tournament, then all of this stuff pretty much wouldn't have happened. The one thing that I did like was they actually told the correct story of how Jax's arms got ripped off. Because we all know that, well, dedicated Mortal Kombat fans know that it was by Goro and not by Ermac. So later on in the series, they tell you that Ermac was the one that ended up pretty much taking Jax's arms. The story got twisted a lot. If you go back and look at I believe it's either the Mortal Kombat 2 or Mortal Kombat 3 instruction manual way back, or either pick and choose. I don't know if they included everything in the same instruction booklets between cross platforms and Sega and SNES, but I remember reading that Goro was the one that ripped off Jax's arm. So this is before any of the other stuff happened with Ermac or anything like that. I don't remember anything with Ermac ripping off Jax's arms. It was always Goro. So I'm glad that they actually told the story of that. And it probably is in the Mortal Kombat comic as well, but I haven't read the Mortal Kombat comic either. So all in all, pretty much the movie kind of felt kind of rushed. I felt like the movie is only about an hour and I think 10 minutes if I'm not mistaken. So it's like they had to pile so much information all into one. They could have made it a little bit longer. But it felt like it jumped. It felt like it took so much information from the entire Mortal Kombat universe, even the stuff that we're experiencing now in Mortal Kombat 11 and stuff like that. And they kind of just put bits and pieces of the entire universe in this small saga. So it's like they kind of, I don't know, they kind of try to give you a lot in a nutshell. So the high points and stuff of the film were definitely the fight scenes. They were super gory. They were very entertaining. It wasn't too much of too much, you know, if that makes sense to you. They didn't try to do too much during the fight scenes. It was kind of like pretty much plain and simple. They were effective. They did everything that they needed to do to sell the story for you, to sell the fight scene, to sell the intensity of the fight, sell the hatred. That was definitely the high points of the film. And it wasn't really too many in my opinion. It was what it was. It was what it was. It did its job for what it needed to do. Like I said, the lowest point for me is that if this is going to be a movie based on Scorpion, it should have had more Scorpion in it. It should have had more of Scorpion's story in it, instead of him just feeling like an add-on attraction to the film. Because that's basically what it felt like in the later parts of the film. I think I would probably score it probably like a 7 out of 10. I would think. Go check it out for yourself. You'll have a different opinion, of course, than I do. You may love the film for everything. If you just peel back the story and everything, you look at the scenes, you look how it's animated and everything like that, it'll probably get a higher grade from me. But I have to analyze it as a whole. All in all, it kind of took away from it. And I'm a story guy, so I love the story aspects of films. It has to have a good story. You can't just have action scenes a la Baki. But that's what it was, man. I enjoyed it for what it was. I give it a 7 out of 10. Make sure you go check it out for yourself. It is currently on YouTube for $20 if you want to buy it and watch it for yourself. Other than that, I don't know. We'll see. Because like I said, the way it ended with Shao Kahn, you would think that they're going to be on the verge of actually making another one, or if they're not already in production already of making another one. The voice actors did a great job. It was just the storytelling, man, for me, like I said. That's going to do it for my review of Mortal Kombat Legends Scorpion's Revenge. If you want to see more movie reviews from me, let me know in the comment section. Before you go, make sure you smack that like button one time for me on your way out. Make sure you subscribe to the channel If you haven't already, make sure you smack the notification bell so you know when your boy uploads or goes live. I can actually say that now. When your boy goes live. Thank you for watching as always. Keep God first. Love, laugh, live. And have a great day.